well coached and good Georgia football team. Um, they wore us down second half with their offensive line, but obviously we gave up the ball three times and had a block punt and interception for a touchdown that really turned the momentum of the game. But I was really proud of our defense, very proud of our defense. I was proud of them at halftime. I was proud of them the entire game. There towards the end of the game, they did have, they stopped. Georgia kicked a field goal, and then they stopped them, and Georgia had to punt. So I really thought Coach Odom had a great game plan, and I thought our kids, especially on the defensive side of the ball, played well. But congratulations to Georgia. They've got a really good football team, really good defense.
Tom, you want to get us started?
Thanks. Hey, Sam, what did you guys do from an alignment standpoint that allowed you to be successful defensively? You really shut down the interior run in the first half. And then what lift did you think that them switching to Stetson Bennett at quarterback provided for them?
Well, Stetson's been there for, he was there, left, came back last year. So Stetson's been waiting his turn. He's always been, when he was down on the scout team, he'd always have great success running the Georgia scout team. But I think they were trying to find a way to move the football. And the first thing they did with him is they let him use his feet. And then he was very, very accurate. He's 20 for 29. He's very, very accurate. Today, sitting back there, we only were able to sack him one time. So certainly we wish we would have got more pressure on him.
Yeah, and what you did defensively in the first half, the first quarter, what were you doing?
What were we doing? We were running our defense. We were playing hard. We were playing fast. I'm not for sure if we didn't get wore down a little bit in the second half. Those plays that we were making in the first half seemed like we might have been a half step behind in the second half, and I think they got a little bit stronger and they were breaking some tackles, But what happened, I think Georgia loosened up the game plan. They started throwing the ball outside, started throwing it down the middle, and they protected well. So I'm not for sure that that we changed a lot of things, but they got one open, and he made a big play to get them right back in the game, and the first drive we had, we were down there on the 2 or 3 yard line, just couldn't get it in. That would have been a big score for us as well. But I just think that our defense played hard, and I think it looked to me like we need to sub a little bit more. We didn't have enough juice to finish the game.
Hey, Biddy.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering if you could comment on your special teams, not the results you probably wanted from that unit.
No, we didn't play well. Going into the game, I felt like we could hold our own and possibly win that battle, but they had so many yak yards, so many, on kickoff, on punt, they blocked a punt. Just so many big plays. You'd think we'd get the field flipped, and they would get it back out to the 45 and 50 on us, and again, we played in a hole the entire first half, and so I elected to take the win in the third quarter, and it seemed to work out early because we had a good drive going back down there, because I was concerned about kicking off and not getting the ball in the end zone, and then we kicked off, and the ball was 3 foot off the air, and a guy returned it for 45, 50 yards. So we've got to do a better job, all of us, myself including, coaching that, and we've got to do a better job of executing. Coach Fountain had a great game plan going into it. We just got to coach better, and we've got to execute better.
Bob.
Sam, what do you think of Felipe's play overall?
Well, he has to be more conscious with football. I mean, he's got to take care of the football. We were right in the game, and we threw a pick six, and part of that was the receivers ran into each other. I thought we were very sloppy with formations, alignments on offense, and we've got to get that fixed. But Felipe has to take care of the football, and I thought he played hard and those things, but we got to help him a little bit more as well.
Nikki.
Hey, Coach, what did you think of your defensive line? I know several guys were banged up, like Julius Coates went out and then came back in. Just what did you think of that? And then the guys that had to come in to replace them?
I thought our defensive line moved really well in the first half, and it may have been, I had to watch the tape. It may have been the entire game. I don't know, but we have it's about 7 guys that we feel like we can play in there. Obviously, the ones are one for a reason, but I think we tired down. We've got to be able to get into a little more often rotation so we can keep fresh guys on the field. Georgia's offensive line averaged about 325, 330 across there, and I feel like they laid on us and wore us down a little bit.
Yeah, Sam, Georgia's punter pinned y'all inside the 10 like 4 times in the first half. How tough was it on your offense, always kind of going with the right there in the shadow of your end zone?
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying, but you also have 90 yards of free space. We need to get the ball out of there. I mean, we cannot keep doing that to our defense, and Coach Browse knows that, and the offensive guys know that. But for us to have big stops on defense, we had an interception down there to get the ball back. We have to be better on offense to help them, and we didn't in the first. Well, we didn't for the game, but in the first half it was very noticeable because we couldn't change the field position. Got dependentness.
Basil. David will come back. Mike Irwin.
Coach, if you were the O-line coach today instead of the head coach, how would you evaluate what the O-line did today?
Well, I don't think we did very good. For me, going into the game, thinking that we were going to go in there and maul Georgia's defensive line, I didn't think that either. But it's tough sledding, especially on the inside. We knew that coming into the game, but we also felt like we could, instead of getting 0 and 1 yards, we felt like we could get 2 and 3, and maybe that would open up the edge a little bit in the naked passing game, the bootleg passing game. But we never did really dent them running up the middle. We didn't expect to, like I say, but we did expect to get 2, 3 to 4 yards in there, and we did. I think Rakeem had a 4-yard run in there at some point, but that needed to be a little bit more consistent. I'm sure Coach Davis is disappointed in the O-line as well, but you have to give Georgia credit. They've got a very, very good defensive line.
Scotty.
Hey, Sam, just going back to the blocked punt, what did you think the breakdown was there? And then what happened on the delay of game on the field goal late in the first half?
Well, I don't the blocked punt, the guy just ran right in the middle of our wedge and blocked the punt. And from what I saw, now I may be wrong, but I think they had 2 guys running right in the A gaps of the wedge and went through there and blocked the punt. Now, I heard talking on the sideline that the possibly a guy came off the edge as well, but they really dented the integrity of the shield, and that's where the punt block came from. As far as the field goal, I don't know. I mean, our guys were saying that they were standing over the ball, but the bottom line is there was no hesitation that whether we were going to kick a field goal or not. Once we got the yardage to get it into the 54, I wanted to kick a field goal. So, we got it off, I guess, right as it went to 0. I had no thought that we weren't going to get it off. And then once it got to 1, I felt like we were going to snap the ball, but obviously we didn't until it went to 0.
David Basil. You're muted, David.
Is that better, Kyle? Coach, Traylon Burks, 7 receptions, 102 yards. His first touchdown as a Razorback. Talk about his game today.
Well, he's a really good player. We certainly have to continue to try to get the ball to him more. He can win contested catches, and he's a special player, special kid, special person, special player. So we have to continue to be able to run him a little bit more and get the ball to him more. But the touchdown grab he made and scored on was an exceptional play, and I think that'll be things to come. But we've got to target him more.
Trey Schapp.
Coach, what positives did you see out there today? I know the fans and looking at social media, they saw some. What did you see positive-wise out there today with your team?
Defense. I was proud of them. I mean, they got put in some terrible – if the defense doesn't step up the first half, we could have been down 3 touchdowns. Very easy because we couldn't get it off we couldn't get it off the goal line. And but the defense did a great job, especially in the first half. And I think they finished the game. They gave up the field goal, and the possession before that, they made them punt. So I was pleased with the defense. Obviously, they got some passing yards on us and things, made some critical third downs. We needed to get off of there a couple of times, on more than a couple of times, but a few times on third down. But the defense and Traylon Burke were probably the positives in for today.
Bailey Johnson.
Hi, Sam. Bailey Johnson from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I'm just wondering what it was like for you from a personal standpoint to prepare for this game against the team that you were with for the last couple of years.
Well, it was great. I had a lot of the kids came over and talked to me, and coaching staff, and I was there 4 years, so it was a big part of Jamie and I's life, and so we knew they had a really good football team. We knew they had a big physical football team, but to see all the people and guys that I worked with and the players, and for them to come and find me after the game and things is a really special moment.
We've got time for a few more. Tom?
I had some DB questions for you, Sam. So Simeon Blair got the start. Is Fouché okay? I know he played. And then do you expect to get McClellan and Devin Bush back in the near future?
Yeah, Matt McClellan will be back on Monday, and Bush will be back on Monday as well. So we'll get – no. McClellan may not be back until the 29th, I believe, and then Bush will be back Monday. What was the other question? I'm sorry. Was that it?
The other part was at safety, Blair and Joe Fouché.
Yeah, Joe was out a few days. we got him back on Thursday, so I'm assuming he'll get a few more snaps next week.
Nikki.
Hey, Coach, you guys don't get a break in this league. You move on to Mississippi State. Just how did the guys react, and you feel confident that they're just, going to bounce back this coming week?
Well, we're going to be fine. I mean, our players are going to play hard, and we talked to them after the game about where we were at half against the number 4 team in the country and what we have to do to end the game against the number 4 team in the country. We're in the win business, and so that's what we want to do. And we have to learn from these type situations. And one of them is you can't turn the ball over 3 times against a team that's number 4. You can't do it. And you have to play better special teams and all those things. But I think our team, honestly, what I like to see, they hurt. They were hurting after the game mentally because we lost the football game. And if we didn't feel that way, we'd be in major, major trouble. But I think our guys understand that we can have a pretty good football team. We just keep working.
Got time for a few more, Bob.
Sam, I know you obviously wanted to get the ball to Rakeem, and he got the ball, but there wasn't much running room. How tough was that, going against that defense? And then at the end of the half, did you call – I was watching at home. Did you call a timeout on that field goal? And if so, is that just kind of a tough deal whether or not to try to ice the kicker there?
Rakeem, it was tough sledding in there. He was going to have to make his own, for the most part today. We couldn't move those guys. And one that they were playing any kind of special defense. They were just playing their gap, and they were hard to move. As far as the field goal, I called a timeout. I had 2. I called the timeout the first time, and then I called the timeout the second time. And the second time, they went ahead and snapped it, and he kicked it, and I think he hit the upright and didn't go in. And then the third kick, I didn't have a timeout left, and he made. But, yes, I called a timeout 2 in a row.
Jose.
All right, Coach. I wanted to ask, with the new guidelines that were put in place for coronavirus, how did it change the atmosphere of today's game day?
How did it change what?
The atmosphere of game day.
Oh, man. I think a lot because I think, if we had a packed stadium, I think we really would have felt it, even though I'm so proud and happy with the people we had in there. They were pretty loud, with the number of people we had. But certainly a home packed stadium will make a huge, huge difference. But I was proud of the fans that came out, and they were loud. And but anytime you can put 70+ thousand people in there loud and raising heck, it helps you.
Last one, Hutch.
Yes, Sam, y'all tried a couple of trick plays today. One of them resulted in a safety, and Traylon Burks threw the interception. What did you think about those plays, the timing of them and all that?
Well, I think they weren't very good. I mean, one of them went for a safety and one of them was a pick or an interception. So, I don't know. We're going to call trick plays. So, they didn't work. We practiced them. We thought they were going to work, but they didn't work. So, the timing of them is the timing. Our offensive coordinator felt like that was the time to call them, and that's what he did, and they just didn't work out. But I don't have a problem with how he called the game or when he called them.
Thanks, Coach Pittman.